So I'm not gonna lie, rain or no rain yesterday, I'm certainly glad we got into town, because on this particular shore excursion, we're not really going into town, or rather, we're going through it and then through it again, and we're not actually taking the time to actually go through the city itself on foot and see what's there. We're at a park outside of Sapporo that's basically meant to be an old Hokkaido village. Interestingly enough, this used to be the old Sapporo railway station. Was it moved here? Because it seems to be out in the middle of nowhere. Our guide informs us that this was the original building, it's just that it was moved from the city center out to here, which that must have been a Herculean effort back in the day. Not that we're riding in this, but it looks like they've got a little bit of a trolley set up here, complete with horse drawing it all. We've got a few passengers lined up already. So we're starting at the fishing village area. This was used for basically a dormitory for workers. You could have about 50 people living in here. There's more back here as well. And it goes on for a bit too. It's really quite a big place back in there, but as it's mostly living quarters, you're supposed to take off your shoes, and not about to mess with that at the moment. You can see a fair distance inside just from the Ngawa. Now over here is, I'm understanding, the owner of the fishery and his house. He's living separate from the rest of his employees, as a master would not live in the servants' quarters. Across from the fishery, or well, at least in this village, I'm not sure how it had been arranged in the original place, because this is just built up as a small version. We have a Buddhist temple over here, and next to that, a building that's referred to as the Urakawa Church. Now our guide says this is a church, but it's not a church, which she didn't really go into any details as to why that was. More to the point, she said that churches, Christianity, was outlawed at the time, which begs the question, why build a church in the first place? But no matter. Behind me is a blacksmith shop, and closer here is a little bit more specialized version where they were building sleighs and sledges for horses to lug around. And you'll notice a curious example of their work on the roof, which has skis to work as a sleigh, but also a wheel to work as, well, a wheel, depending on the weather, so that the vehicles that the horses would pull could operate in either kind of weather, be it winter or summer. Rather ingenious, honestly. I don't think I've seen something like that before. Meanwhile, here is another specialized smithy, specifically for horseshoes. I was going to say that this was the sake brewery here, but on closer inspection, the display inside indicates that this was more of a general store. And this building here is more of an official government type building, set up in order to promote industry in Sapporo in particular, where it was constructed, and in Hokkaido in general. I should mention that each of the buildings, it turns out, has a sign indicating what it is and where it's located. Not every building here is from Sapporo or anywhere in particular, but they are all from about 19th century Hokkaido, which is basically when the Japanese, you might say, colonized this from the Aino Aboriginals. All right, this was my confusion. This is the sake brewery here, and the curtain on the outside looks fairly similar to that of the general store. I'm sure it would look different if I could actually read kanji, but there you are. Meanwhile, this is a soba shop that existed in Otaru at the time. And according to our guide, the fact that the curtain is out in front like this means that it's open. If it were closed, it would be further inside. Of course, it is dark and empty here, so I would say that it's actually closed. Or at least it's not functioning as a restaurant at the moment. Interestingly enough, it looks like there's a second story to it. I'm not sure if that's an additional adjunct to the restaurant or more likely living quarters for the owner and his family. Now we're close to the entrance of this old Hokkaido installation, and the first thing you see as you walk in is this old government building. You might be able to see the flag at the top, a white flag with a red star. That is actually the Sapporo city flag. And over here are the flags of Japan, Hokkaido, and I actually can't see the other one. It's green and yellow on a white field. I'm not sure what that represents necessarily. I'm sure if I asked the guide I could find out, but we're just wandering around on our own at the moment. In fairness, we've really only gone the length of the railway to the back of this place, and then a little bit further towards the top, and that's about it. But again, we have a limited amount of time here, and it's a little challenging to understand what's going on. Not only that, but we're kind of getting in the way of a number of different schools that are here on field trips, which is understandable, but still kind of like, I can't even get these kids on film because YouTube will get upset about that sort of thing. So we'll leave it at that. If they wander into shot, I can't help it. But I have to be really careful about where I film. Still don't recognize that flag, but it might be just the Hokkaido Park District or something like that. Who knows? To be fair, I'm sure somebody that's watching this could look it up. Heck, I could probably look it up, but not here and not now. Anyway, we're on to presumably our next stop.